In this video we are going to get access to some stock data. In this case we'll look at trading prices for SPY and then plot those so we can go to the next step where we will eventually compare those to the Treasury data. So in order to get access to the data, we can easily do that via Yahoo Finance. So I'll go ahead and open up a new tab. We'll bring up Yahoo Finance and let's go ahead and type in SPY, or really whatever price you are looking for. Then we'll visit the page here and it has historical data. So with this, what I can do is I can specify the price data or the period for the data I'm looking for. So since we grabbed Treasury data from 2021, let's go ahead and grab price data for the same time frame. So if we look at this, I can select custom start date. We'll go ahead and go back to January of 2021, and the end date will be December 31st, 2021. Go ahead and do done, apply, and we can see it shows us the prices right here. And then we can go ahead and select download, and that will give us a CSV. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rename mine to SPY 2021, and then that's how I'm going to pull it into my program. But whatever you decide to call it, that's just what you'll need to use when you bring it in. So going back into our Jupyter Notebook, this is where we left off. We had our import of Pandas and Plotly, which we'll use both those for the plotting of our SPY data. Coming down here, we saw our Treasury data was plotted. Let's go ahead and bring in our SPY data. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new data frame, and we'll go ahead and call this SPY, or SDF for our SPY data frame. And we'll use the Pandas library, read underscore our comma separated values. And then the file that I want to open is going to be my SPY, and we'll do 2021. Now, you should be able to tab complete if you start typing the file and that file is in the folder, so you don't have to type everything out. So if we do this, that should load the file in, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the file. So we'll just go ahead and immediately after do SPY data frame and hit enter. And there we go. Now we can see we have access to all the data, right? We've got 251 rows, and that would make sense for about a year's worth of data. Now what this includes is the date, the open, the high, low, close, and adjusted close, and volume, which you potentially could use for any algorithm you might want to try to develop. So in order to plot this, we're going to use the Plotly library again. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll go back to their site. We'll do Plotly, and we'll type in Python, and we'll look at their documentation. So we can see all the different charts we're able to make. For this time, we want to look at financial charts, and we can use candlestick, or potentially you could maybe look at your OHLC charts. I'm going to go ahead and use candlestick. I like the completed candles here as opposed to the little line segments there. But either one would work. So we'll click on that, and this gives me a demo of what we need to do. So I've already imported graph objects. I've already imported Pandas. Okay, for the purposes of this, I don't need to worry about the date time. I already have that pulled out of my table. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these lines right here and paste them into my Jupyter Notebook. There we go. And now all I need to do is update the data I want to plot. So we know it's going to be a candlestick plot, so we just need to update and change this instead of the data frame that they created in the example to our SPY data frame right here. And then we'll pull the date column, so that's right here. This will be our X data. And then our open price is going to be simply called open. So we'll change that to open from the SPY data frame. Then our high will be high from our SPY data frame, low from our low data or SPY data frame, and then finally close from our data frame. Now that we have that set up, we'll show the figure once we have created it, and hitting Shift enter allows the code to run, and we can see now we have the data plotted. On the side of our little window here, we can go full screen. Now we can see the entire table and all the different settings and interactions we have up here. Now this is pretty cool. It happens to be a little inconvenient because once you start zooming into a small section, it keeps the vertical scaling for the whole time frame. So we have no way to change the vertical scaling. So you zoom in and these bars start to look pretty small, which kind of ruins the visual effect in my opinion. But we have the ability to kind of scroll around and look at all the various data. So that is a way for us to plot the OHLC data that we can pull from somewhere like Yahoo. Now, in a little bit, when we compare the Treasury rates to the actual SPY prices, because the Treasury rate numbers are from the end of the day, I'm really just going to be concerned about the close price. So potentially, maybe we would just want to use what we did before and plot a single line for just the close prices. Okay, so I'm going to go to this box, we'll hit escape, and I'm going to hit B, which will add another input box or coding box below the current one. And let's go ahead and try this out. So we'll go ahead and create another figure, and we'll say that this is going to be our graph object dot figure, and we'll do nothing to set it up for now, just kind of create an empty one. We'll add a trace, and we'll say that this trace is going to be a graph object dot scatter, and then the X data is going to be our SPY data frame, and we're going to be looking for that date information again, capital D I believe, and then the Y data is also coming from our SPY data frame. In this case, we're going to be just concerned about that close price, the price at the end of the day. Okay, now that I've created the trace, if you recall, we'll go ahead and do fig.add trace, pass in our newly created trace, and then we'll go ahead and do fig.show. Fig.show. Okay, we'll run this. We can now see we have our SPY data with just the close prices. Now what's cool about this is using our ability to zoom in, we can actually zoom in and we can adjust that vertical scale. So if we want to tighten that up a little bit, you can kind of see the ups and the downs a little bit more clearly. Obviously we don't have the opening data or the high or low for each of the individual days, but it does give us the ability to, in my opinion, graphically see things a little bit better. So with that, that concludes this video where we are plotting our SPY data. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and combine our two data frames from the Treasury data and the SPY data, so then we can take our first look at actually trying to establish any correlation between the two. So with that, if you want to catch the next video, make sure you subscribe. If you like the video, go ahead and like it, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thanks.